Hello, welcome to Getting Candid with me, your girl Helen. Remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so that you don't miss out on anything that we upload on this channel. Now, today my guest is a legend. I had interviewed him some years back, but today we're interviewing him under different circumstances. I'm talking about Moses Sakala from the Sakala brothers duo. And we're here to talk about Levy Sakala, memories, and the upcoming tribute concert you have to know about it, so stay tuned. Welcome back. I mentioned in the opening that I'll be chatting with legendary Mr. Moses Sakala. Always an honor to have him on the show. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Helen. How are you doing?
I'm good. I think the last time I interviewed you was like 2-3 years ago. Maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
Yeah, so it's nice to have you back on the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, though under different circumstances now. So, firstly, we know you're having a tribute show for Levy Sakala. How is that coming up?
Yes, we're having a tribute show for Levy Sakala. My friend, brother, partner, and my hero. So we, as you know, as other people may know, we lost Levy, passed on in June, on the same day that Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, our first president, died. Yeah. So it was heartbreaking. You know, I was tortured by that. Now the time was, you know, we lost a lot of people in June due to other COVID-related deaths. So I thought we needed to settle and mourn Levy properly. That's how come I had to wait because, you know, we had the national mourning for 3 weeks for our founding father, President Kaunda, and then there was there were elections in the country, our general elections. So I thought that it was really crowded, kind of overshadowed the way, you know, we would like to mourn a hero like Levy, an icon. So I thought I wanted things to settle, let these things pass, and here we are. It's the reason why we are doing this tribute to reflect and honor Levy, because Levy is a national hero. He believed in national unity. You know, why we came up with Makewane music, it was basically because of the belief that we need to preserve our Zambian identity. That's what inspired us to come up with Makewane music, so that we can connect our future with the past. And Levy strongly believed in that. And here we are talking about his demise, which is really, really heartbreaking. But to keep his legacy and memory, you know, we thought of doing a tribute to him, followed by, you know, there will be a documentary, a tribute, nice, and other things that we will do just to keep his memory alive, to keep his legacy. So, okay, yeah.
So in as much as we know that at the time of his death, you were no longer performing together, but the moment the announcement was made that Levy has passed on, a lot of people were concerned, how is Moses doing? How is Moses doing? Because obviously we grew up, some of us we grew up watching the Sakala brothers, and most of us thought you were actual blood brothers, but obviously your friendship made you family. And I remember when I interviewed you, and I interviewed Levy separately, you both gave me an impression to say we may not be performing together, but brotherhood is still there. So at the time of his death, how was the relationship?
Well, it's not easy to explain. Yeah. I think when I explain it to Levy, he would understand it better, you know. So not so easy, because even at the time when Levy received the calling that he needed to pursue, to continue with his religious life specifically, for various reasons. First of all, I was a bit skeptical. I said no, I refused. And then as time went by, he kept on bringing it to me, and I had to release him. I had to respect his decision, because I knew that now we're at the highest level. You know, when you're dealing with spirituality, matters of religion and spirituality, I don't think I had so much control. So I had to respect his decision, meaning that wherever he went, spiritually, I was still with Levy as a Sakala brother, honestly speaking. Because we kept on in our, you know, by the time he was passing on, it was almost 9 years since 2013, when
Oh, wow.
when he announced that he's taking a break from Sakala Brothers brand. And you know, it was a difficult time for me, for the Zambian people and the people around the world that gave us the name, they crowned us as Sakala Brothers. Very, very difficult time. But you know, in our separate ways, we kept on spying on each other. You can imagine. There is a chewa saying that munda wakale suvutolima. You know, if you consult the meaning of that, an old field, you know, the field that is already fertile, you have been growing things. It's easy to have other to go and cultivate again second time than a completely fresh ground. So if you know, on a lighter note, if Levy was we came from a marriage situation and we had separated or divorced. Those are the kind of divorces that people would call munda wakale. Yeah. Because you find that people are separated, they have divorced on paper, but they're still having children. You know, yeah. That was that kind of relationship I had with Levy, because from both ends we kept on spying on each other, trying to be concerned about what the other person is doing. Where is he now? What could he be doing now? You know, dearly missing each other, because we saw it when we bumped into each other, because people invited us on functions like weddings separately, and then we just bump into each other. We find ourselves on stage singing together again on friends or funerals of people that we knew. Because
you had a lot of mutual friends.
Yes, so people would invite us, and they couldn't understand that we still separated. Because Sakala Brothers, it was 30 years of making Makewane music together. You know, walking, you know, like, you know, you are going on foot from Matero, and then suddenly you are nobodies, just these young, innocent boys from Matero. And suddenly you are flying to all the continents of the world because of the dream, because of the character, you know, that I really, the reason why, again, this tribute is very important is Levy the pusher, the young Levy, when we met, when he thought this is very important, when he was following me around at Matero Boys in our class, in our secondary school class, our high school, and trying to tell me, you have to join the choir. I tell him no, you know, and he keeps following me around like a boy chasing a girl, you know. You know, those memories are the ones that are going to make me miss Levy, because yeah. Levy was a pusher. He told me, my brother is in Germany, Mr. John Sakala, when he comes back, he will give us money, we have to record. I said, no, we can't record, we're still in school. He said, we'll have to record. And we went on. He got the money, he pushed the brother, he got the money. That time it was unheard of, in the 80s, to go and book a DB studio when you are just school boys. Yeah. The only recording studio, professional recording studio in Zambia. And Levy was a pusher. He got the money. You saw the Burning Youth on TV, on Time for Music for Tim Mvula. He told me, I've seen a band. I think they can back us. I said, I mean, those are professional people. Yeah. No, let's go. So you see, those moments for me really reminded me of how he taught, you know, he gave me some energy to believe, you know, in pushing boundaries. And
if you were to think of all the times that you spent with Levy, do you have a moment when you say, oh, this was like the happiest day together as Sakala Brothers? Or maybe there were too many, but just one.
Yeah, there were too many, of course. 30 years together, you know. Ups and downs, highs and lows. But Levy was Levy. Levy, you know, why I was running away from him when we were in school, when he was trying to win my friendship or to get friendly to me, because I thought he was too loud. Because I was some kind of an, you know, I'm some kind of on a quieter side, and that time. But we have learned to speak now. But later on, I discovered that was his strength. He was loud, he was jovial. He could turn around situations. When you have a sad moment or a certain, you know, you turn it into a joke. And so it's what I have his quotes. Every time I want to reflect and think about him, now I think about his quotes. He had very interesting quotes.
Okay.
Yeah, because we used to call each other Ambwana, you know.
What does it mean?
Ambwana, it's like Bwana.
Oh, okay.
It's just a way of respecting each other, because we had, because naturally I'm allergic to confrontation, you know. So, yeah. So there were moments. He was a very funny person, but he brought in a lot of light moments. Really, when I think of moments like in India, Mumbai, we have a space for close to 1 million people, and only getting 5 bands all over the world to perform on the closing event of an international social forum. And then Sakala Brothers, somehow, somewhere, I don't know how we found ourselves on the top 5.
Oh, wow.
And then that's when Levy would say, "We are the Sakala Brothers." He told me there are only 3 things that they start with the word they. Yeah. We call it they. Yeah. Others say the. You know, he said the sun, the moon, and the Sakala
Brothers. Nice.
Yeah, that was Levy, just to give me that, you know, motivation. Sometimes, you know, we could have some low times. He said, Sakala Brothers will never fail.
Yeah.
And those were our early days.
And maybe your biggest fight?
Strange enough, we treated each other as the Wapongosh in Bemba, or as Apongos. That's the kind of relationship we had with Levy. Okay. We wouldn't believe that, but it was that kind of, you know, the way you keep away to your mother-in-law in our Zambian culture, to your mother-in-law and father-in-law, traditionally speaking.
Yeah.
You know, where she's standing, you want to pass there, you know. And we had this way, I don't know how it came about, where we allowed each other to have friends. We were friends first, then later on we became brothers. Yeah, so brother can go 10 years, he comes back still a brother. So I think it came from me trying to allow Levy, because Levy was adventurous, he was outgoing, so sometimes I wanted to stay. So I think that helped. Fights, you can mention 1, 2, 3, depends, but not physical fights.
No, I mean like misunderstandings. Or maybe you're just disagreeing on something like...
Well, musically, sometimes I could take a long time to make decisions, you know, so I can't be a very good politician. Yeah, so, you know, sometimes he wanted us to do something musically, something more poetic, and I wanted something more deep, you know, so we could argue about that. There were issues we wanted to understand each other. When we grew up, you know, we were friends, and now you have families, you know. There was a time I went through a trying time, you know, and then Moses Sakala was on headlines everywhere, you know, everywhere. And then amazingly, when Levy Sakala, Augustine Lungu, and Chela Katwishi and Leo Zulu, they had to sit me down to find out really what was going on. But he was laughing, you know. he was laughing at me and say, look at Yu Junta, what is the name, the then Chinese president, Moses Sakala, headline, on the same headline with the Chinese president. Shake my hand, Sakala Brothers is great. Then, you know, sometimes I could misunderstand. I say, but I now know what he meant. He said, we had reached a level where we became some kind of a national brand. And yeah, that was a trying time where we had to really sit down. And Sakala Brothers was kind of shaken. But because of his, Levy's religious belief and the way he was, we had to sit down and kind of talk it over through the help of our friends, Augustine Lungu, Chela Katwishi. You know, I remember. So that was a bit of a trying time because it was just people running the show. Yeah. And then circus in the media, and then he was very much concerned about that. But thank God that was sorted out.
Okay, we'll talk more and also talk more about the tribute. We just take a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm still chatting with Moses Sakala. But so we've talked. I wanted to know, obviously, in as much as you were not performing together at the time of his death, you know he's around, and maybe you'll hear or you can call him. I just don't know how this will affect you differently now that he's not there, and maybe you performing when you start performing, or when you go to the studio, or when you'll be performing for his tribute. How do you think? Do you think you feel the difference?
Yeah, as I said, it took 8 years. Yeah. 2013, when Levy left to become a pastor, to pursue his religious life. So even in the 8 years, there were a lot of things happening. Because he was also into music, doing religious music. He recorded albums. I was also performing as Moses Sakala, but it was always difficult, you know, after, you know, that period of time together. Yeah. And the roots of Sakala Brothers brand, people are still referring to me as Sakala Brothers. When they see Levy, is also a Sakala brother, you know. So I was still performing, but very different after his passing on. Very, 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 very different. I think the thing is to keep his legacy, I think, would be the most important thing to me, because Levy stood for things that we stood for together. To see to it that our cultural preservation is done. And in fact, I can take this opportunity actually to thank the people that helped, you know, supported the funeral, so that we have a worthwhile send-off to Levy, because it was not easy. And just a word, you know, to the systems, really, that they're supposed to be systems put together so that we have Zambian musicians have a dignified life, you know, because it's very important, the government, and especially that we have a new government now. You know, I was listening to the speech. I didn't hear specifically when people talk about tourism and arts. I didn't hear all the time. I've sat, I follow as a Zambian citizen, our heads of state speak. They don't mention the arts. And yet, without history, without the past, we believed with Levy that it's the roots. There's nothing that will start. Even a Toyota Corolla as a vehicle has a past. That's how now we have GX, we have all these big vehicles. You come from the roots, from the past, they can bring the future. So the future of Zambia and unity with different tribes and so on. That's what we believed. That's what Makewani music is all about. So if we can have systems, we can have people sit in parliament thinking about the plight of a Zambian musician, how they can create an environment and structures that, you know, through legislation, you know, like the way the lawyers, you know, and all these other people are legislated. We need the musicians to be considered people talk a lot about young musicians, sometimes getting handouts by politicians here and there. It might not be together all their fault. We need a structure that will make musicians independent. And the many lessons that Levy wanted, unfortunately, to teach, he has gone with them, you know, and we need to carry on with that legacy, you know. So it's those kind of things. Sometimes when I'm reflecting, since June, I'm thinking about the moments and the things we believed in as Sakala brothers. Then I want to still honor Levy by making sure that we concentrate on our preservation of our culture, giving our Zambian identity and doing all those things. But the state must do something to have Zambian musicians have a dignified life. You shouldn't be subjected to politics, to singing a political song for you to have a house. We need a structure. For me, once that is done, then I will be very happy that Levy's dream has come true, has been honored.
Okay, so the tribute, because it will be live streamed on Rockstar Television and Mingotainment. We just would like to know, I think even many people that are watching, what kind of music should people expect? Is it going to be Sakala Brothers music or some new songs? How is it going to look like?
Yes, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Charlie Bravo from Sling Beat, you know, when he came and volunteered and, you know, to do this live streaming in conjunction with Rockstar Television. It's a welcome idea. I think the program will comprise songs, like we will do a bit of medley. We'll do Sakala Brothers songs. We'll do Levy's songs, because Sakala Brothers, I composed Sakala Brothers songs, and Levy also had his compositions. But we'll dedicate some songs by Levy Sakala, then I'll perform them, and then also generally Sakala Brothers songs, and also songs by Moses Sakala. But it's all Sakala Brothers music that people remember us of. So that's how we'll probably will couple it with some messages, because there's also a documentary we are putting together that is coming for Levy.
Okay.
So nice. 19th, we would like Zambians around the world to join hands, and we remember this icon, this genius really that he was, because Levy, I called him all the time the great 5-star general, you know, fighting on the right side, you know, of a cultural preservation war. You know, it's a war, you know, because we have this inferiority complex, you know, sometimes looking down upon, you know, appreciating, thinking that, you know, what is profitable is American, you know, culture, yeah. You know, not knowing, you know. So I have a problem also with our Zambian people, I mean our leadership, you know, in trying to embrace, you know, and thinking it's more profitable to support the American culture than our own Zambian culture. Jingande, Funkutu Fwemba, you know, Akalindula, you know, we have got Chianda, the Likishi there, you know, we've a lot in abundance, really. So let's sit back and talk about our national rebranding properly, because national branding starts with appreciating our culture, where we come from. Then we have a future there. The moment we miss the point, just know that all these youths that we have around, you know, people are talking about bus stations, people are talking about markets, and then the new languages coming on, social media, technology, you know, internet, without believing and teaching our young ones about who they are, how to be proud about who they are first, then we are in trouble. So cultural preservation, traditions and culture are extremely important. And when I talk like that, I know what we used to share with Levy. It keeps coming. So the tribute will have messages and also songs performed by Sakala Brothers, hits, Londole, Sandra, Akalevalika, Kumawa, you know, the list is endless. So whatever we pick, then we'll join hands in remembering this icon, this Zambian hero, Levy Sakala.
Okay, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you so much. You're welcome anytime.
Okay, so guys, we know what to do. This show will be streamed live on Rockstar Television and Entertainment, so you can just read what's scrolling down and make sure you are part of this tribute. Like he said, we need to send him off. The time he died, a lot of things were happening and a lot of people were not part of that send-off. And this is a man that was loved by many of us. So I think it will just be right for us to support them, and support means let's stream, let's watch, let's do what we have to do to be a part of the show. So thank you so much for coming, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you, Helen.
Alrighty guys, so this is the end of the show. Remember to subscribe and turn on the bell so that you don't miss out on anything that we upload on this channel. Bye-bye.